The bulls are back. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here. And in today's video, a new rally is forming on Bitcoin. The hugely important SB21, the Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, is in the House of Representatives right now, and a weak stock market is holding down Bitcoin, but Bitcoin seems to right now be leading U.S. stocks. Is a massive rally coming to Bitcoin right now? Is the bullish setup that we find ourselves in strong enough to send us back up to $100,000? Or is a massive crash right around the corner? Without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. The United States S&P 500 continues to dive, but Bitcoin doesn't pay any mind. Because on the 1 hour chart, an inverse head and shoulders pattern we find that I think may send Bitcoin as high as $100,000. But let's see if it's actually going to happen or not. You see, Bitcoin has been in a much needed, very important corrective movement over the last 2 months. We've discussed how the visible range volume profile showed a massive gap right here in between $73,800 and $91,000. Bitcoin needed to fill in this territory so that we didn't backfill this after the end of the bull market and have the bear market drop us all the way down to 73.8. In a sense, what we've been doing in the last month is ensuring that Bitcoin's bear market bottom is able to stay above $91,000 and that we won't have to drop all the way back down to 73. This gap on the visible range volume profile that was created by how rapidly we jumped up to the $90,000 range needed to be filled, and it is being right now, but that does mean that we're not always going to stay between 73 and 91. So when are we going to rally, and what should we be doing right now to prepare? Well, the first thing to consider is out on the weekly chart, Bitcoin right now is finding support above the 50 weekly simple moving average. This is a very important moving average for Bitcoin to bounce off of because this is the exact moving average that Bitcoin bounced off of last summer that led us all the way up to our current all-time high at 109,000. If Bitcoin is able to hold above this level of support, then that gives us an indication that the bottom may be in, and this is one of the foundational arguments that a major rally could be coming very soon. But it's not just this piece of technical support. We've also got a lot of different things going on the shorter term time frames. Coming down to almost every single short and medium term time frame, we see a massive example of bullish RSI divergence. We've been shouting about this bullish RSI divergence literally since the very minute that it formed. We were live on air right here calling this bullish RSI divergence being built back on Monday. We watched it happen live. Now the rest of the industry is talking about it. We said it first. This bullish RSI divergence is likely going to be one of the things that will drive Bitcoin back up to test local resistance at $91,000. It's also a fact that this bullish RSI divergence shows up on almost every single conceivable time frame. It shows up here on the 1 hour chart with higher lows here on the RSI and lower lows on the price action, all the way up through the 2 hour, the 4 hour, the 6 hour, the 8 hour, the 12 hour, all the way up to the daily chart. We see the bullish RSI divergence playing out right here. One of the most powerful, one of the most strongest cases of bullish RSI divergence I have ever borne witness to in over 7 years of charting this market. Furthermore, if we go to coinglass.com, we can see over the last 2 weeks that there's been a massive amount of longs liquidated. Everybody that was in a long trade has now gotten annihilated. Most of the longs that were going to get liquidated that drove us from the price on February the 24th at $95,000 to our recent local bottom at $76,000 have been liquidated. About $5 billion of longs have been liquidated, and now we're starting to see a turnaround and more shorts are getting liquidated because people are betting the market's going to go lower, but they are getting caught up in the fact that Bitcoin seems to be trying to place a bottom in. So if it looks like Bitcoin's trying to establish a bottom, the question now becomes, will it? That's a tricky one because Bitcoin's really got to push through a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and it's also got to push through a lot of resistance. You see, the tricky thing about sitting here in between two zones is you're basically in no man's land with massive resistance on either side. It's difficult for Bitcoin to break below 73 because there's a huge amount of support there, but it's also going to be difficult for Bitcoin to break up above $100,000 because there's a massive amount of resistance there. That's why I think Bitcoin's probably going to be stuck somewhere in this valley between 73 and 91 for some time. I am not yet confident in any way, shape, or form that Bitcoin is going to be able to break above 91, especially considering this rally is only a couple of days old, and we have not even seen Bitcoin be able to reach the price target of this inverse head and shoulders pattern just yet. This inverse head and shoulders pattern down on the 1 hour chart gives us a price target of, you guessed it, $91,000. if we're able to rally up to 91K, that's where the real decision is going to come. Can we break $91,000, rally into this resistance zone between 91 and 109? And if so, that's where we can start trying to break through the point of control here at 96 and go back to all-time high. First thing that Bitcoin has to show me is whether or not it's able to actually hit 91. And knowing what I know about how this market tends to act, it normally doesn't go the way that you think it's going to at first. Normally, Bitcoin throws you a curveball. Normally, it's not so simple to read. Now, sometimes it is, but oftentimes what happens is it gets a lot more complicated than that. It seems too obvious for Bitcoin to just rally right now back to $91,000, especially considering the fact that the news landscape is a whole lot of nothing, and what we do have about the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve being created by executive order at the federal level has been a nothing burger, and people are freaking out about it because there's no immediate acquisitions. So short of a major fundamental shift in the news or in the sentiment, a rally back to $91,000 in just the next couple of days seems unlikely to me, but it can happen. The important thing is that when we get to 91, the bottom of that resistance zone, that's the real test. If we break through 91, start pushing through that resistance, then maybe we're ready to go back to all-time high. Although I personally think we're going to spend longer down here in this valley between $73,800 and $91,000. I don't think we're done down here just yet, even though we do currently have a bullish setup. In other words, I'm betting against the bullish setup right now because the sentiment doesn't line up with a massive rally back to all-time high right now. That being said, there is one exception to that prediction, and that has to do with none other than SB 21. SB 21 is the Senate Bill 21 going through the Texas legislature right now. It was passed by committee in a 9-0 unanimous vote in the Senate committee. It was then sent to the Senate floor where it passed 25 yays to 5 nays, so massive, overwhelming support in the Texas Senate. As soon as it passed the Senate, it got sent to the Texas House of Representatives, and now at some point in the next couple of weeks to the next couple of months, the Texas House of Representatives will have it in committee. It will be voted upon in committee, then it'll be sent to the floor to be voted upon, and if it gets passed by the Senate and by the House, then it'll be sent to the desk of Governor Greg Abbott, where he will most likely sign it into law, depending on whether or not it fits his personal philosophy of fiscal conservatism or not, which it probably will. This is a very important bill because it would usher in hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars of investment into the Bitcoin market by the great state of Texas over the next many years. There are proposed caps on how much investment can be made of $250 million. We don't know if that's per year or in total. We're not exactly sure what all this is going to look like. It's still early, but most likely we're going to see Texas passing the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve and being the first state to bring it online here in the year of 2025. That's probably going to happen at some point in the next 4 to 12 weeks. Today is March the 12th that I'm recording this. You're seeing this March 13th. 4 weeks to 12 weeks from the day that this is uploaded. Go calculate it. I'm not going to bother you do it. From 4 weeks to 12 weeks from when this video goes up, I predict that this will be approved and it will be very bullish for the market. And this piece of news coming out will be part of the reason that Bitcoin goes back to all-time high and beyond. That's our prediction. Take it with you and do what you will with it. So what should we do with all this? We got a bullish setup. It could send us back to all-time high. I'm a little bit concerned that that's not necessarily going to happen, but we've got some big news. The Texas Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, probably federal allocations at some point in the next couple of weeks will be coming. That's big news also. Another state may pass one as well. We've got another 20 or so in the legislature right now in different states around the United States. Are we going to see some kind of big bullish nexus event sending us into a rally? Yes. In the next 1 to 3 months, next 4 to 12 weeks, we are going to see a major fundamental development that will help Bitcoin to break above 91, go back to $109,000 and take off into the next leg of the rally. You should not be freaking out and terrified about where we are right now. There are massive bullish announcements on the horizon. There are huge things happening behind closed doors right now that none of us know about that are going to be very bullish for Bitcoin. And we need to remember that we've got to invest for the long term. We've got to remember the fifth law of money, which is saving and investing. We're not investing for the next week. We're not investing for the next month. We're investing for 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. We're building a life in the future so that in the future we'll look back and thank our present selves. So let's not get so caught up in the news that we start worrying too much about where the market's going to be so that our portfolio value goes up. Instead, let's focus on the news for the sake of seeing when is the market going to be at its lowest so I can lower my average cost basis, get the best entry possible, and then I can turn that entry into a bigger return in the future. That's how we ought to be looking at this market right now. So please be very careful what lens you view Bitcoin and cryptocurrency from. Our prediction is as follows. In the next 4 to 12 weeks, a major rally is coming to Bitcoin. We will be breaking $109,000 and Bitcoin will then likely be rallying all the way up to probably about $125,000 to $150,000 at some point towards the end of the summer. So stay tuned for that and get excited. And if you believe that's going to happen like I do, that's a doubling on Bitcoin in the same year. You're not going to get that anywhere else. As I mentioned, as we speak, Bitcoin is showing immense strength versus U.S. stocks because while Bitcoin was bouncing, U.S. S&P 500 is not. We are red, red, red. We had a little bit of an intraday bounce, but nothing compared to what Bitcoin is seeing. QQQ doing the exact same thing. Slight intraday bounce, not enough to show a lot of strength. DJI, exact same thing. Major correction going on here. Looks like Bitcoin is leading the stock market at the moment, showing a lot of strength, showing that the United States investor is even more confident in Bitcoin right now than they seem to be in the U.S. stock market. This is a sentiment that is likely going to grow over the coming weeks and months as the trade war expands, as we see CPI data coming out the day that you're watching this, as we see whether or not we're going to have interest rate cuts, as we see what the trade wars that are going on right now balloon into. Bitcoin is going to continue to become the place that people flight to rather than flight from. Instead of people leaving Bitcoin because there's stuff going on around the world, people are going to start coming into Bitcoin because there's stuff going on around the world. And you and I, who are invested in Bitcoin, are going to be able to take advantage of that trend. But you see, what's the point of building a lot of wealth if you're just going to end up losing it to a hacker? See, instead of doing that, I want you to be like this guy. He's very happy. Do you see that smile? You see his smile, just how happy he is? He's happy because he signed up for NordVPN. See, here's the deal. NordVPN is the #1 VPN in the space, but what's a VPN? A VPN is an extra layer of protection and security while you browse online. Hackers and thieves are trying to steal from you. Newsflash, there are evil people out there and they want to rob you for all you got. A VPN like NordVPN is going to improve your online privacy. It's going to allow you to securely access the internet without hackers and thieves being able to see your search traffic. NordVPN is basically like a cloaking device. You put it on when you go on the internet and people cannot see what you're doing. You're invisible. How is somebody supposed to target you for a hack if they never even knew you were there in the first place? NordVPN is like a personal bodyguard, a security detail that hides you and protects you so the paparazzi can't get you, right? Except instead of them having cameras, they got, malware. They're trying to put malware on your machine. They're trying to steal from you. They're trying to get your logins. They're trying to get into your email. They're trying to get your phone number. They're trying to get your two-factor authentication. They're trying to get your authenticator. They're trying to get your anything that they can get their hands on. They're trying to get because selling your information makes them money. NordVPN is going to protect you from these hackers and thieves in a litany of different ways. Not only do they have the VPN that this guy's so happy about, they also have a bunch of other products that are going to keep you safe. Everything from NordPass, their secure password manager. We love NordPass. I love it. I use it every day. It's phenomenal. It's my favorite password manager. I switched from Dashlane to NordPass because NordPass is so amazing. NordLocker, encrypted cloud storage. You got pictures, you got videos, you got emails, you got different pieces of information like social security numbers, whatever it is. Great place to keep it is in NordLocker. Encrypted cloud storage is going to keep your stuff safe. NordProtect, identity theft protection. They're going to monitor and make sure your identity has not been stolen. Social security number, all that stuff. They're going to make sure to keep an eye on that, keep you safe. Inside of NordVPN, they've also got anti-malware tools. They've got ad blockers. They've got identity threat protection where they can see if your information has been sold anywhere on the dark web so that you're alerted that your information's out there and you can secure the data breach. Anything and everything that you need in internet security, NordVPN's got it. And here's the best part. For NordVPN's birthday, they gave us a deal that you can sign up with right now. If you go to nordvpn.com/Jeb, that simple, and you hit this big red button that says Get NordVPN, then you can get a 2-year plan of NordVPN for as little as $3.76 a month. So to protect your secret Sheeb stash, you can do that for less than $4 a month. That's like 12 cents a day. It's amazing. If you've not already, nordvpn.com/Jeb, sign up today. You're helping to support the channel and helping to protect yourself from hackers and thieves. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.